Good morning, everybody. What a gift we have in the musicians who open us and share their talents with us every week. Thank you so much, Cindy. And thank you, Carol, for being our musical... Trish! I'm looking at Cindy. Trish! Trish! And Carol for doing the arranging of all the music. Thank you, Trish. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Door County. My name is Nora Flood. It's my privilege to be your service leader today and to welcome our guest speaker, Bets Williams. Today, I'd like to begin by inviting us into a practice that is both simple and surprisingly rare in our world, the practice of deep listening. For some, spirituality is grounded in belief or tradition. For others, it is found in reflection, relationship, or quiet presence. In Unitarian Universalism, we make room for all of these paths. What connects us is not a single doctrine, but a shared commitment to honoring the inherent worth and dignity of every person, our first UU principle. One way this commitment comes alive is through the practice sometimes called spiritual companionship or spiritual direction. This is what our guest Bets will speak to us about today. Despite its name, it's not about directing someone's life, offering advice, or prescribing beliefs. In fact, it is almost the opposite. It is listening. Deep, intentional listening. This practice rests on a belief that many of us share here, that each person is sacred, that within us, each of us carries wisdom about our own lives. Sometimes what we need most is not instruction, but space. Space to wonder, to struggle, to be silent, and to become. This morning, as we begin our service together, I invite us to carry that spirit of deep listening into this space. May we listen for wisdom in the music, Trish, in the words spoken and unspoken, and in the quiet moments between them. May we listen with curiosity rather than judgment, with openness rather than certainty. And may this hour together become a space where each of us can hear, perhaps a little more clearly, the voice within us that is guiding us toward who we are becoming. Welcome. If you're new to our community or returning today after some time, we are especially glad you found your way here today. If you're visiting and would like to, we offer a gentle invitation to stand, to share your name, and to tell a few words about yourself. And if today feels like a day to just listen and to settle in quietly, that is perfectly welcome too. However you choose to be with us this morning, we are very grateful that you are here. I don't see a lot of newbies. Hi. Yes. I certainly could. Thank you. Better? Sorry about that. Thank you. Anyone? Okay. If anyone has any other announcements pertaining to the fellowship, if you'd please raise your hand, Jim will bring along the microphone. Karen?
As you can see, we're in the process of a new exhibition installation, and it's supposed to open on the 12th, and we're still working on installation, so bear with us.
It's going to be so beautiful.
Cindy Nelson, inside your order of service is our April bingo game, Earth Day bingo, to help all of us remind ourselves of what a beautiful world we live in, and perhaps we should know a little bit more about taking care of it. So take these home, put it on your refrigerator, cross off those blocks as you accomplish it. At the end of April, bring it back in, finished or unfinished. There will be prizes on the first Sunday of May. So see how well you can do, all you bingo-loving UUs. Thank you.
Good morning, Jane Wise. The food barrel and the Door of Life food pantry, really the things we always need and we should concentrate on right now, I think, are cereal and snacks. Good, healthy snacks for kids like graham crackers or even goldfish are not bad, applesauce, that kind of thing. And I don't know what kind of snacks adults eat because I don't eat a lot except nuts, but you can bring nuts. So thanks very much, cereal and snacks.
And I don't know if this is a joy, concern, or announcement, but I am looking for someone to be a greeter next Sunday. I will not be here because I'm taking my daughter to the airport. She'll be here for a few days visit. So if there's someone who's willing to swap with me, I'd appreciate. Oh, done? Thank you.
Well, that was easy. I'll just say, don't forget our pizza and movie party on Thursday. Pizza and music, and our guest, it's a surprise, it's Dave Sherman. Don't tell him. And I think that's it. Okay, and if you would sign up for that, that would be helpful to get the pizzas. Just a few items before we begin the service. Please remember that if you have any noisemakers, cell phones, anything else that makes noise, please turn it off if you could. And thank you for the announcement about the hearing. If you're still having trouble hearing me or Bets or anything, please let us know and we'll take care of the volume. And then following today's service, please join us for refreshments in the gathering room. The talk back with Bets will begin about 15 minutes after, and just listen for the chimes for that. And I'm going to say a little bit, not yet. Hang on. A big welcome to today's speaker, Bets Williams. Bets and her wife, Mary, moved here from Colorado in 2016. They bought and opened a store in the Country Walk Shops near the Pig. And Mary had an art gallery, and Bets, who is a licensed massage therapist and Reiki master, opened her practice there. With that space sold last year, Bets moved her practice to the Sister Bay Health Center, that used to be Aurora, Sister Bay Health Center on Bayshore Drive. Bets recently completed a 3-year program to be a spiritual director and companion from the Franciscan Center in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And having also moved here from Colorado, Bets and I share a love for the mountains, and she helps me heal when I get back from my ski trips. So welcome, Bets and Mary. Thank you. And now I would like to invite Bets up to light our chalice. And as we do this, I'll share a few words from Eric Walker Wickstrom, why we're here. Here today, in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Thank you. And now, if you would please stand for hymn number 6, just as long as I have breath. And Bob is going to be our choir leader today. And then if you would please stay standing for our UU vision and for the doxology after that.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Oh, with pain I make my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
We gather together to seek knowledge and wisdom, to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate within a caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives.
From all that dwell below the sky, let songs of hope and faith arise. Yet may will on earth be sung, in every land, by every tongue.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Trish. And now, as we share our joys and concerns, we enter a time of deep listening, remembering that what is carried by one heart is held in some way by us all. We listen not to respond, to solve, or advise, but to be present with one another, to witness, to care, and at times to celebrate alongside each other. You're invited to speak from your own experience, trusting that this community will listen with openness, respect, and compassion. And please keep in mind that this service is both live streamed and saved on the internet, so please share about another person only if you have their permission to do so. And Jim has the mic.
This probably should have been an announcement, but it is a joy to welcome a new poet to the Dickinson Poetry Series, Hank Bolst, who will join us on Wednesday, and we are really looking forward to that. So I hope many of you can make it, and I hope the weather cooperates. Hank, thank you for sharing your talent with us.
I'm just back from Idaho, where my favorite youngest daughter is battling ovarian cancer. So please keep her in your hearts. It's going to be a long battle.
Juliana Newman here. My concern this past week has been for Jerry Friedberg, who fell and broke her hip last Monday. She's had surgery and was discharged from the hospital on Friday to rehab at SCAN. She's very weak and really can't handle much contact. I'm sure she would welcome cards at SCAN in the rehab section. And she does have her cell phone with her, and she could take calls maybe after a few days. Thank you.
So yesterday I picked up the phone to call Lynn Lees I had called Jerry and didn't get a response, and so called Lynn to get an update and found Lynn. I'm like, you're driving? Yes, I'm on my way to Wisconsin Rapids. And her sister is there, and she was sent to the hospital with an aortic aneurysm. So did not erupt. And so she is with them, their kids are with them, and I said, now, is her husband still with us? And she said, yes, and he was admitted to the hospital at the same time. So Lynn, being the caring, kind person she is, send her your love and thoughts. I was concerned with her because she's on. I said, well, do you want to call me back before I found out what was going on? She said, no, I'm fine. She said, I just came through some really bad fog, and I did get through all of those roundabouts, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I could do that, but she's the Energizer Bunny and cares for all.
Hi, Gwen Grayboys here. I just came back from a brief trip to Florida, but was fortunate to be there, participate in some activities with our UU congregation down there. And one of the things we did was they're part of a Social Justice Alliance of the Florida Sun Coast. It's been around for a couple of years. It's a multi-faith and nonprofit conglomerate. 25 organizations got together. They sponsored a 400 people attended a Save Democracy forum, and their keynote speaker, I don't know if anybody of you know her or have read about anything she's written, Catherine Stewart. She is an amazing author who has done years-long deep dive into Christian nationalism. And I used to think they were a fringe movement, but I realize now this is more a David versus Goliath approach from the people who really do want to save democracy. This is an enormously well-funded and rigorously attacked method of gathering the vote and gathering people in support of multiple different aspects of this. They're not fighting one issue. They have many different things they're looking at, transgender and public education. They want to do that. The Catholic Church is part of this. But anyway, I just think this was an amazing book. We may want to think about at some point, it's not exactly a book club book, but maybe having a discussion about it. We have to mobilize on our side or we're going to get run over by this machine.
Wow. Thank you, I think.
So I was going to make sure that there was an announcement about Hank and his presentation on Wednesday, but that's been done. But I want to say that I am a year and a day out from my last surgery. But that means that Dick and I are going to Ohio for all these follow-up tests on Tuesday. So I'm going to miss the presentation, so sorry, and I'm hoping that I'll get copies of some of the poems. So thank you for all your support over the past year, especially last spring. It's grand to be here, it's grand to be alive.
One more.
I'll make this quick since there's been so much. But last week's potluck was fantastic. And I just want to say thank you to those that organized it and, of course, all the wonderful food that we had and company we shared. Thank you all.
Thank you, Buttons. Wonderful. Thanks, Anna. Good morning.
This is my first time here. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Mattson. My family and I have been in town for 14 years, and I am here because of these ladies. You know how you can pinpoint a spot in your timeline when something significant happened, where it was boom, and it created comfort, it maybe created clarity. So 3 years ago, I was needing a massage, blah, blah, blah. I went to Bet's, got a massage. And they had their pride flag outside. And I was at a point where I needed to have a really heartfelt, significant, loving, safe conversation with them, just about life and about family and everything. And oh my stars, from that moment forward, these two have been such dear, loving, supportive, more than friends, just hallelujah. Thank the universe, thank the good Lord for Mary and Bets. So I am here as a testimony of how wonderful they are.
Wonderful. Welcome, Mark. Well, welcome. We hope this won't be your last time here. That's it. Boy, there are a lot more joys today than concerns, and I love that. As we move into our offertory, we take a moment to reflect on the connections that gather us into community. Giving is one expression of our shared commitment, a way of affirming that this congregation, this shared work, and every person among us has value. May what we share today of our resources, our time, and our care nurture this community and strengthen the spirit we are building together. And if you are visiting us for the first time, please know your presence is already a generous gift, and we're so grateful that you're here. You. Our reading today is an excerpt from Parker Palmer's book, Listening to One Another into Being. Oops. We live in a culture that is eager to fix, advise, and correct. When someone shares a struggle, our first impulse is often to respond with solutions or judgment. Yet there is another way of being together, a way grounded not in fixing, but in listening. Deep listening begins with respect for the soul of another person. It assumes that each life carries an inner wisdom, and that dignity resides within every human being, whether or not we understand their choices or experiences. To listen well is to trust that the other person is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be honored. When we listen in this way, we lay aside the impulse to set another person straight. We refrain from interpreting another's story through our own fears or expectations. We make space instead, a space large enough for truth to emerge in its own time. Such listening is an act of hospitality. It welcomes the stranger and the familiar alike. It says, your life matters. Your experience has meaning. You are worthy of being heard. In communities shaped by this practice, people begin to speak more honestly. Masks loosen, defensiveness soften. We discover that beneath our differences lies a shared longing to be seen, to be known, and to belong. Listening does not demand agreement. It asks only that we recognize the humanity before us. When we listen without judgment, we affirm something essential, that every person carries inherent worth and dignity that cannot be granted or taken away. This kind of listening is not passive. It requires courage, the courage to be present, the courage to suspend certainty, the courage to allow another person's truth to change us. In offering one another such attention, we participate in healing, not because we have answers, but because we create conditions in which wholeness can appear. Community is born wherever people listen each other into deeper being. And in that listening, we remember who we are, companions in a shaped and shared human journey, each life worthy of respect, each voice deserving care, each person held in dignity. To begin a moment of reflection, these words are from J. Abernathy Jr., called The Quiet Power Within Us. Let us join in a moment dedicated to that quiet power within us. It is within that we find the will to face the world. It is within that we find the love to embrace the world. It is within that we find our personal identity and know the world. Yet within us is also a great void. We feel this void at times of great loneliness, frustration, and despair. Sorrow, hatred, greed, too, are within us. Just as we need to be alone at times to put things right, so do we need to be with others, to be loved and to love. This great social urge also is within us as powerfully as that separateness, that uniqueness that gives us identity. Let us look within ourselves with honesty and trust. We shall find there a personal center important to who we are. We shall find there something held in common with those around us, family, friends, neighbors, and in ever-widening circles until we find that which we have in common with all people, something irreducibly human, something completely natural. This is the center of all religion, all love, all concern for others, and it is the center of all personal growth. May these few minutes be a personal time for you, a time for that person within you who feels at one with humanity, with nature, and with all the universe that was, is, and shall be. Amen. Welcome, Bets.
Good morning. Good morning.
If you have trouble hearing me or if I talk too loud, let me know. I'm Bets Williams. I've been coming here for a while now. Mary and I were introduced to the UU by Phil Melke. Yes. And she asked us if we would be interested in going to church with her, and we politely declined. She asked us again until we said yes. And if you're going to have a neighbor that you're going to move into who's, you know, I can't imagine anybody other than Phil Melke to welcome us. Anyhow, we came, and then we got to meet another Phil, and that was Phil Sweet. So 2 people who have had a really big impact on my life are those 2. So anyways, the Phils are in my mind this week, and as I've been writing this up. So at this point in time, I'm going to pretend you're all in my living room, our living room, and our cat is here, a little black and white tuxedo cat, and I will continue, and I'm doing pretty good so far, so I'm excited about that. I want to thank you, Nora, for the introduction. Trish, your music is beautiful. Thank you so much. Today is a special day, and I did want to make sure to say, for the people who celebrate Happy Passover, Happy Easter. Because the UU accepts everyone. And for me to be standing here in my world and life is a miracle in and of itself. I was looking at the website of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here of Door County, and it says we represent a welcoming and inclusive religious presence in Door County. I would have to concur. In other words, all are welcome. We had that sticker on our store window, so people knew. Everybody knew. I was asked to come today to share what spiritual direction is. I'm very happy to do this. It is something that I am very passionate about. And it has changed my life and who I am. I was trained to work with people of all faiths, or none, or non, and all the other words we can think of. I was trained at the Franciscan Center in La Crosse. The Sisters of Perpetual Adoration were right next door, and they helped to support the Franciscan Center and the Spiritual Direction Program. And what amazed me more than anything else, one is they accepted me into the program. 2, the diverse staff that they had that were teaching us and that were so open to all the different people in my cohort. I know we've already said the unison affirmation, but I want to say it again. To seek knowledge and wisdom, to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate within the caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives. When I first came and I went to a meeting of new people, I don't remember their house, and I'm sorry for that, I was just amazed at the different people that were there in that small group. And for a long time, I just thought of, what if the world could be like this? Here's this microcosm that is created here for all these different people to be able to come and partake in. To me, it was amazing. Nora's words, what connects us is not a single doctrine, but a shared commitment to honoring the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Principle number 1. As I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I was listening to Nora read this morning, I thought, you know what? That has been my whole life. I have worked with people who lots of people would turn their heads away from. People who needed direct care. People who couldn't walk, people who were blind, people who were deaf. My search in religion has been an ongoing thing for some time. Growing up Catholic was tough. But I feel like I still don't know where I sit, and I'm being more comfortable with that. The movie The Life of Pi, anybody see it? Read it? I love that movie. And when that came out, I was much younger than I am now. And I thought Pi was amazing. He believed in Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, all together. He believed in a loving, inclusive God. I have walked around saying, I am like the life of Pi. I'm like Pi. I believe so many different things that contradict so many different things. And anymore, I think I've given up on caring about that. I have, like I said, grown up Catholic. I have sat in the Thai temple in Denver on my cushion, meditating, doing the Vipassana meditation, practicing centering prayer at Snowmass Monastery, and of course, Snowmass, Colorado. I would go to the services at the monastery. It was beautiful. I felt awe and wonder. I felt my body transported. I have an extremely important mentor friend who was a priest, who has helped with open, honest dialogue, with who I allow him to bless me, and then he asks me to bless him. What is a spiritual director? I would like to start out by giving 2 definitions of what a spiritual director is. The first is from the Franciscan Center in La Crosse, where I attended my 3-year program for becoming a spiritual director. Spiritual directors are compassionate, non-judgmental listeners who accompany people on their spiritual journeys. Spiritual directors come from all walks of life and do not offer counseling, advice, or problem solving, but rather serve as trusted guides to help others discover their inner wisdom. The second definition is from Marathon City, from St. Anthony's Spiritual Center. Spiritual directors or spiritual companions encourage you to look inside of yourself for sacred guidance, for sacred direction. They listen carefully to your words, observe your body language, and notice hints of your spiritual path, then quietly repeat back to you what they heard and observed. Spiritual directors believe in you and support you as you find your way. A wise spiritual director once said, we listen We listen to your song and sing it back to you when you forget. The program I went through was really an extensive programming. In our training, our main focus was listening. And listening, and listening. Not taking notes as you sat with someone. Focused on the person in a gentle, relaxed manner. Asking very few questions. Paying attention to the voice, watching body language, paying attention to what the person may be feeling, even asking what they are feeling, and noticing the thoughts in our head. Is Spirit talking to me, trying to let me know something? People talk about that inner voice. I'm curious where you think that inner voice comes from. Many humans have a limited emotional vocabulary. We were given a page full of different words, of emotions, with the entire page filled. 4 most common emotions: anger, mad; fear, scared; sadness, sad; joy, glad. How are you feeling today? Kind of mad. And when you start looking at that list and seeing all the other things that are on there, it's like, oh, you know what? I think I'm frustrated. The director of our program has 3 basic questions. Every spiritual director is different, but he makes it very simple. What's the challenge? What's the invitation? What do I need to let go of? I would like to tell you a bit of my story today, of who I am and how I got to become a spiritual director. I grew up Catholic, you know that. My superhero is St. Francis. I can't help it. I love that man. And yeah, I memorized Make Me an Instrument of Your Peace. Just because I read it over and over and over and over again as a little girl, I ended up memorizing it. That first line, Make Me an Instrument of Your Peace, I ended up taking it to heart, which I did not realize until just recently because I'm doing this. My degree is in physical education. In high school, I started teaching swimming lessons and lifeguarding as my first job. All ages, even little babies, when we first started taking them underwater and doing all those fun things for any of those of you who have done that. In my later life, people have asked me for lessons due to fear of water and traumatic events regarding water. I worked at a camp for disabled adults and children, 3 years old to 80 years old. I was in Iowa. It totally changed my life. Where you were reading things about looking at people with respect and dignity and all those different things, Nora, I was thinking of my friends here. I have worked in group homes with handicapped adults. I have worked years with severely, profoundly handicapped people of all ages. I met Mary when we were working at the camp in Iowa. Since then, we've been lucky enough to get married. Once it was legal, and we have celebrated 42 years together. The 3-year course for spiritual direction is not for the faint of heart. It allowed me and all my cohorts to examine our thoughts, feelings, and reactions all the time. When I'm sitting with someone, I'm being aware of what might be poking me, so I'm aware it doesn't get in the way of who I'm sitting with. My cohorts and I saw a spiritual director one time a month for 4 years. It was a requirement. I know what it is like sitting in the other chair with someone who is sitting with you quietly, listening to every word you say, who is understanding and caring, who wants to hear your story. It can be a time of great vulnerability. I don't know about you, but that's a tough one. But it can also be a time of great discovery and healing. A large part of, okay, I'm going to hang on there a minute, hang on. Spiritual direction really has changed my life. And being able to be vulnerable and with some of the things that have happened in our lives, it has been so beneficial. And just all of our lives. And things that have happened that may not have been fair, right, or just. We had a speaker by the name of Dr. Diane Millis, who's a spiritual director, and she speaks a lot at different places. But she comments on, I'd like to just share this quote with you, a large part of the sacred art of conversation is learning to practice the pause that connects. To give the person who is talking the time to actually hear themselves and what they have said. Then silence. For the directee to have the chance to have that stillness, quietness, to settle into their being, I believe is life-changing. When I am having spiritual direction, I am always amazed at what I learn about myself. The silence has become a sacredness in and of itself, to pause, to think about what I just said. Whoever I am talking to, whether it is a client, a directee, a friend, and they share with me, then I wait. They may choose to say more. They might not have realized until the space was there. I have learned that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to ourselves and others. The pause. It's believed by some that the voice within us will lead us to the answer we are seeking. I would be curious as to what you thought about that. I see and believe more clearly how our spiritual lives are in every facet of our being. I don't know if I would call this a prayer, but I'll call it the cactus story that I'm going to end with. Instructions for Traveling West by Joy Sullivan. First, you must realize you are homesick for all the lives you're not living. Then you must commit to the road and the rising loneliness, to the sincere thrill of coming apart. Divorce yourself from routine and control. Instead, find a desert and fall in. Take the trail that promises a view. Get lost. Break your toes. Bruise your knees. Keep going. Watch a purple meadow quiver. Get still. pet trail dogs. Buy the hat. Run out of gas. Befriend strangers. Knight yourself every morning for your newborn courage. Give grief her own lullaby. Drink whiskey beside a 100-year-old cactus. Honor everything. Pray to something unnameable. Fall for someone impractical. Reacquaint yourself with desire and all her slender hands. Bear beauty for as long as you are able. And if you spot a sunning warbler glowing like a prism, remind yourself, joy is not a trick. Thank you.
Betts is going to be part of the slam on Saturday at Northern Sky. There's a flyer that we just put up this morning. So if you want to hear more and hear from other amazing women, that's Saturday at Northern Sky. Thank you. So please stand once again, or from your seat if you would like, for Hymn 170 by Holly Near, We Are a Gentle, Angry People.
Are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our life. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
Thank you. I'd like to have Betts come up and extinguish our chalice today. And our words are by Amy Zucker Morgenstern, and they are Teachers Everywhere. In every person we meet, especially those who cause us discomfort, we find an opportunity for us to grow, to learn, to go further along the path of transformation that is our purpose in life. Every single one is our teacher, May the next week bring you many such moments of meeting that help you become the person you want to be, and may you welcome them with joy. May it be so. And we'll be back in 15 minutes for bets.